now or no?
It'll start.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Bastien from Be Your Best Self Coaching, and I am here with Mastermind Magic. We are here. We're so happy to have you here today with us. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of information here. So when two or more people come together in conversation, a synergy happens, and ideas that would not otherwise come to mind reveal themselves. And that is the magic of the mastermind. So today we are here to use the power of a mastermind to provide you with real action steps that you'll be able to apply immediately. So we are a group of life enhancers who are highly trained, deeply intuitive, and we all have a passion for helping people. We're here to help you to take the steps to live a life that you love living. We're not doctors or therapists, and it is important that you seek medical direction from licensed doctors in regard to any medical conditions. We simply offer alternative thought patterns, not with the intent to replace medical advice in any way, shape, or form, but to enhance understanding of yourself. And with that information, who is next in line here? Hello.
Hello, this is Athena Salazar, Chief Possibility Officer with Life to Design, and thank you very much for joining us today. And we really encourage you to connect with us on Facebook. The link is going to be in your chat. And if you're watching this on a webinar replay, at the very top, you should see a reconnect button. So if it freezes or anything like that, you can go ahead and hit the reconnect, and then it'll kind of get things on track again. So we also, on the page, you may see some share buttons. So you're welcome to share this with your friends. Let them know about what's going on here, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you would like to do that. And we do encourage you to check out the Facebook page, because then you'll know what's coming up, when that's happening, and we'd love to have you attend. So we have today, which is our webinar series on all of the universal laws. So this month, we're actually covering the law of obedience. So if you want to check out any of the others, we've been covering one a month. So you can check out our Facebook page to look at those replays of the different laws and be able to see those. And then for the rest of the year, we'll have those coming up as well. So today, to cover the law of obedience, we have Andrea, who is going to be covering that for us and give us some ideas about that. And the rest of us will be coming in to give our perspectives and be able to give you some additional information. So we'll go ahead and start with Andrea. So Andrea's there. I'm going to bring her up. Yep, there you are.
Hey, so we have the law of obedience, and this is a law that we probably should have done first because it puts us in line with all the other laws. The word obey means to submit to a rule or to comply with orders or instructions. And I know that sounds a little ominous, but we're going to take that off of it. Obedience is the governor of all movement. And when we are dependent entirely upon obedience for our success or failure in life. And I'm going to explain that a lot more. Like the law of electricity. If we don't obey the law of electricity, we're going to be French fries. And if we don't obey the law of gravity, we're going to be pancakes. But if we do obey them, we can enjoy French fries and pancakes. So it's not a constriction, but more of an expansion. He who obeys the laws of nature and acts as her obedient servant later reaps a full harvest. So if you plant during the right season and you plant corn because you want corn, you'll get corn. Our mistakes are largely due to the fact that we obey more readily the laws of man than the laws of spirit. And we all know where that gets us. We have subjected our ideas to the appearances of circumstances rather than the inner truths as law teaches them. And it's been said that the hardest thing to do is to think truth in the face of circumstance. When things aren't going the way we want them to, it's difficult unless we practice to think the truth of the situation as opposed to what's actually going on. If we are to obey the spirit within rather than the conditions about us, the law requires us first to think things into existence from within before we see them come into form around us. The law reads, as you sow, so shall you reap. And that is mathematically true. Again, you can't plant an acorn and get a cherry tree. If you plant a corn seed, nature does not make a mistake. It brings forth a giant oak. That's just what I said. You can't plant corn and get an oak. You have to plant an acorn to get the oak. If you plant thoughts of worry, the law will obey and will give you something to worry about. As we think, we are. Our thoughts, what we think, drive our feelings, and our feelings drive our actions, and our actions create our results. Whatever the law you obey will then in turn serve you. So again, if you're thinking about worry, the law is going to give you something to worry about. If you're thinking about hate, the law will give you plenty of things to hate. And you won't see love. The most important thing then is to know what to obey. For example, obey the idea of financial freedom rather than the idea of debt. If you're thinking financial freedom, all the ideas of financial freedom will come to you. If you're thinking about debt, you're going to have more and more debt. Strange, but man does not own an earthly thing. All that he has been loaned to him according to his understanding of the law that he serves. So if you understand the laws of abundance, you'll have more and more. And if you only think about lack and poverty, that's what you'll have. His real task in life is to find his place according to his understanding, and that understanding determines his way of life. So the more you understand, the greater your abundance. Greater awareness brings greater abundance. If you are obedient to the law, you will live in the present. Do your highest duty every day. Forget the past and let the future take care of itself. Your past, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It does not determine your future. You can always change what your future is in the now. You can make different decisions and change whatever life you've had. We want instantaneous healing of our diseases, but we are loath to give up the net habits that cause them. How many people smoke and get lung cancer and continue to smoke? People think about what's wrong. They think about their immediate circumstance when they should be thinking about what they want instead of what actually is at the moment. If you put your thoughts to your dreams rather than to the current circumstance, your energy will flow to the dream. A law of energy states, where thoughts go, energy flows. And you know that to be true. Whenever you think about something, that thing grows. All that is required of us is to learn obedience to the law of truth and not to obey the petty things that arise steadily, all the little circumstances that seem to get in our way. If we stay in the truth and keep moving forward towards that, it will eventually come to fruition. Obedience is about alignment. It's not about punishment or constriction. It's about alignment. And when we are in alignment with the laws of electricity or gravity or any of the laws, we will reap abundance. When you obey the laws of electricity, you can light up the whole world. You can power a whole world. And if you don't, you end up like a French fry. And we understand that when adversity arises, it carries with it the seed of equal benefit. In every problem or difficulty, there is a seed of equivalent benefit. And if we're open to seeing the good that's coming out of what seems to be a bad situation, then we can make that good grow. And at the very least, that seed might be learning that we are not in alignment with the laws. And then we know to move into alignment. The law of obedience provides us with the guidelines to greater expansion. And when we work within the guidelines, we started out saying that obedience is the governor of all action. And if you follow the guidelines with that governor, greater expansion will happen. So I hope that helps. And now we're going to have Felicia come in and talk a little bit more about the law of obedience.
Thank you, Andrea. That was amazing teaching there on the law of obedience. Hello, everyone. You're welcome. Hello, everyone. Felicia Lonobile from Love Yourself Coaching. So I'm going to continue the discussion on the law of obedience, and I will share my perspective on the law of obedience. So what is the law of obedience? The law of obedience is to get in harmony with the laws of the universe. And when we do, our life gets a whole lot easier. We can choose to ignore the law of gravity or pretend it doesn't exist, but that doesn't mean it goes away. And once we understand and believe in these laws, we can learn how we can make these universal laws work for us in ways you never thought possible. So when they do show up in your personal experience, you will probably call it a miracle. The study of these laws increases our understanding, which in turn expands our awareness. The awareness is what moves you up the spiral of the evolution, and it's what keeps you on the green growing edge of your own learning. We must be obedient to the law to make things happen and grow in our life. It was Tom Wilhite who once distinguished the difference between normal versus natural. He said, what is normal is the tendency we all have to live a certain way with a certain paradigm and a certain way of experiencing life. But even though it's normal because we repeat it, doesn't make it natural. What is natural for us is what is in harmony with our own nature. Our nature is unlimited abundance. Our nature is unlimited goodness, and our nature is unlimited life. How do we know this? It shows up as our dreams, our desires, the good we would like to bring forth in this world. However, you and I cannot do that without an obedience to the practice of our way of being in our own nature. So, while we have a normal way of living, unless it's in harmony with our nature, it really isn't natural for us. Things may seem normal to us, but does that mean they are natural in accordance with our nature? Struggle, for example, may seem normal, but when we are in harmony with the laws of the universe, life flows with joy and confidence and ease. Normal is how most of the world operates. But when we operate in accordance with our nature, life gets a whole lot easier. Looking to our circumstances to get permission to do what we want to do may seem normal. And I agree with that. But when we are in harmony with the laws of the universe, we need to look inside to create what we truly desire and want. Most people will look at things from the outside in. If we simply get obedient to the law, become a good student of the law, practice it daily, life will unveil everything for us. We become not only a greater soul, we begin to reap the power to control every condition and to enjoy every blessings. There's nothing more than that you want. Our mistakes are largely due to the fact that we have obeyed more readily the laws of the earth than the laws of the spirit. Equally referred to the laws of circumstances, the things that we look outside ourselves, our current situation, our circumstances, the facts of our life, but not the truth of who we are. We have subjected our ideas to the outward appearance of things rather than to the inner truth that the law teaches or reveals. If we choose to obey the spirit within rather than the conditions about us, then the law requires us to first think things into existence from within before attracting those wanted things into our personal experience. Excuse me. The practice of empowerment, the practice of authority, the practice of becoming able to bring forth the circumstance that you would choose or I would choose is to learn to live from the inside out. So instead of waiting for things to change, we then change. And over time, things must begin to match the vibrational harmony or the compatibility with the frequency that we are living in and living from. Example, and it's something similar that my fellow coach just mentioned earlier. When we plant thoughts of worry, the law we obey will give us something to worry about. And that is truth. That is not fact, that is the truth. It will produce more and more circumstances to fulfill your focus, which is worry. And if you think disease or lack, scarcity, then we increase our receptivity and we experience more and more of what we are interested in and focusing upon. So, whatever law you are obeying will in turn serve you. Let me ask you, then what is the most important thing to know? Is to know what you're going to obey, what you're going to be looking upon, what's your focus going to be on to bring forth what you would love to create in your personal experience. And with that, I'm going to invite Eric to join us. So I hope that I was able to shed some light on the law of obedience. And I will be back later. Thank you for listening. And with this, Eric, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much, Felicia, and that was wonderful information that you shared with us, and as well as Andrea as well. What I'm going to be talking about today is, well, first of all, my name is Eric Bastien, and I am from Be Your Best Self Coaching, and I'm going to be talking about how do we get into alignment with the law of obedience. Another way of calling the law of obedience is the law of harmony. How do we get in alignment with the law of harmony? And one of the ways that we do that is by using the law of Dharma or the law of purpose. And Deepak Chopra wrote a book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, where he goes into an explanation as to what the law of Dharma is. And I'm going to give you some of that, some of the highlights of that information, because he paints a very beautiful picture in terms of being obedient with the law. So the law of Dharma says that we are essentially spiritual beings who have taken physical form to fulfill a purpose. And there are 3 components that are related to the law of Dharma. The first one says that each of us is here to discover our true self, to find out that we are infinite spiritual beings that are having a finite human experience. The second component says that each of us has a unique talent that we are here to express. And when we're expressing our unique talents, or it could be several talents, we are happy and we lose track of time. And the third component of the law of Dharma says that we're here to serve humanity with our talent. By asking the question, how can I help all those with whom I come into contact, instead of what's in it for me, we go beyond the ego and into the domain of our spirit, which is the part of our awareness where we experience our universality. Now, when we find our true purpose and we align ourselves with our highest vision, the universe upholds and supports us. In fact, Dharma is a Sanskrit word, and it basically means to uphold. Now, to experience the law of Dharma, there are 3 things that we can do. The number one thing is to seek your higher self through spiritual practice and discover your divinity. One great way of doing that is through meditation. The second thing that you can do is that you can discover your unique talents. Try different things, find out what you're good at, and basically practice that. Obviously, if there's something that you absolutely love doing, that's usually a sign, and that's something that you should pursue and get really good at what it is that you love to do. The third thing that you can do is to serve humanity with the expression of your talent. You can serve others by your talent. And if you do those 3 things, you will be in a very, very happy place. You'll be serving others and you'll be fulfilling your purpose. So some of the questions that we can ask ourselves in order to get in alignment as well is, what is it that you would love to do, to be, to express, or to have? How can I help? How can I serve? So these are very good questions to ask the universe in order for you to get in alignment with the law of obedience. So that's my message for today, folks. Thank you so much. And Athena is going to be coming on in just a moment here.
Yes, actually, we're here with everyone and just kind of giving you some insights into, things that come up for us. So that's really the power of the mastermind, is as people are coming up with things, we're holding space for our fellow coaches, as well as when we work with our clients, to be the highest version of themselves that they can be. And sometimes things come to us that may be trying to come into the other person's mind, but they're not quite there. So we're there to help. And that happens to us too. So we're here supporting each other, and sometimes just to support the audience as well. There's some things that come into our mind. So one of the things that came into my mind as Felicia was speaking, and then it tied into what Andrea was saying, was the point of the normal versus the natural. Like, that's at the core what we're all talking about, because like Felicia was saying, the normal is what we see. The normal is our habits, and that's what we think is comfortable. That's our comfort zone. That's right there at the edge. And it's all like, we don't want to go to the edge because this feels good, so that's the normal. But it's really the natural is what we should be living in. And like all of us have said, there's all of these universal laws, and they're working all of the time, even if we're not aware of them. So in the beginning, there was gravity, but nobody knew what that was called. And then the apple hit him on the head, where that was. And then they're like, oh, there's something to this, right? So as we've evolved, we've been able to understand these laws, and that's really what we're doing is sharing them. And we're not making them up. Like, we're not making them up. It's actually in a book right here. Working the Law, Raymond Hollowell. And just through history, we've all done a lot of research through history, and it's just repeating itself of letting us know what these laws are. So with the natural side of things, actually, when you have the natural side, when you go to the natural side as opposed to your habits. So with that natural side, it is your inspired actions. So it's those times when you are driving and you feel the urge to go into the right lane or the left lane, or maybe you go somewhere and all of a sudden you're standing there, you were inspired to go to maybe the library that day, and it guided you to a particular section of the library, and then you pulled out that book that is the one that had the information in there that you've been looking for. Or maybe you were searching on YouTube, and you were randomly going around and something prompted you to go somewhere. Those inspired insights is you being natural as opposed to normal. So when you are, it's just what everybody else was talking about, is being in alignment. And that is what all of us help people to do, is find out how to find their emotional guidance, because that's actually what's going to be able to move you forward in where you're wanting to go. So that is the key. And that's not something that you can learn in just this lesson, right now with all of us. It's something even for ourselves. We're not saying that we're masters at something, but we are on the path of progression, and we are on that path of understanding, and we're at a different level of understanding to be able to assist with that. So that is what we're here and sharing. So that was just to give you a little different perspective on the normal and the natural, and just bringing that together. But that was very impactful on what Felicia was saying, and it kind of went back to what Andrea was saying, where you have worry, and worry, you're going to bring more of that, and that's your normal state. But when you go into your natural state, you're going to feel harmony when you do things, you're going to feel peace, you're going to feel fun when you're doing that, and that is your natural state. And that's really where you want to live, is in that state, because nobody wants to be sad and worried all the time, and all of these things bringing them down. So that's where guiding yourself to that place of natural is very important, to really bring what you want into your life. So is there any other insights anybody wanted to share?
You just did something that sparked something. And I hope I didn't lose it. when we do move into that those thoughts that are more expansive, and we feel better, different thoughts come to us. You'll have, if you're thinking about financial freedom as opposed to debt. Different thoughts are going to come to you about financial freedom than debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you move into a different thought pattern, a more natural thought pattern, better thoughts come to you about more abundance. The other thing that I wanted to say was, Eric had mentioned it about being in service to others. I remember I was feeling terrible one day, and I just could not get myself to feel better. And I was doing an exercise with someone else, and I had to be in service to that person, right? And immediately, anything that was bothering me literally went away as I was being in service to her. And when you're in service to someone else, it just brings you out of those lower vibrations and brings you into health and more happiness.
Mm-hmm. Right. And to add to that, you were talking about when you're asking a question and you're in the process of feeling worried, or you're in the process of like, how am I actually going to get past this? When you're in that state, you're in a state where it's very constrictive. You can probably feel that. You feel that in your chest, you feel that in different areas of your body, and you're all like, I'm worried. So when you're like that, you're actually closed at that point. So that's where, like Andrea was saying, in her way, she was being of service, or it could be even going and taking a nap, or maybe you ask your question at night before you go to sleep, and you're like, I'm going to leave my worry here. I'm going to dream of better things. And then in the morning, more than likely, you're going to come up with a potential answer, or maybe a next step that you could do in your life to help to address that question that you asked. So yeah, just to add on.
And if I could just add something else that's in correlation with what Andrea said, and Athena, what we're all saying today, is when you have, shall we say, a problem, we always have a tendency of focusing on the problem versus focusing on the solution. But the other important thing that we have to remember is, where are you coming from when you're looking at the facts? Are you coming from a low energy, or are you feeling alive? Are you in alignment? Are you filled with joy? Because we have a tendency of always asking questions when we're feeling our lowest. When it's the opposite, the reverse is the most important thing. Bring yourself into alignment, get in that place of joy, upliftment, aliveness, and then go ahead and ask your empowering question, and you will get an answer, not to the problem, but to your solution. And what Athena said, when the mind is chattering too much and it's beyond your control to stop that chatter, sleep is good because you stop the momentum. And then when you wake up again, you can go ahead and ask that question, because now you have stopped the momentum and you have a better chance of getting an answer to your solution. But always coming from a place of joy or contentment or satisfaction even before you ask that question. I just wanted to share a little bit of that.
Yeah, and definitely, it's definitely you're feeling. We are feeling beings. I mean, you may not like that you're emotional, and it doesn't mean that you're crying all the time. It just means that you feel different things, and that's actually your internal GPS to let you know, are you on track? Are you not on track? So it's all understanding that, because that is what then feeds into all of these laws. And you can watch our other videos where we've talked about asking the right question, you know, the way that you frame a question, and law of attraction. We've covered that. We've covered other laws. So you really want to go back and check those out as well to give you some additional information. So Eric, were you meaning that you were adding?
Yeah, I'm just going to add a few other things as well. The universe loves fun. So there's that's another way for you to get into alignment as well. So you could number one, smile more, right? If you start smiling more, automatically it puts you in a good mood. Laughter is also an incredible thing that you can do. Be very positive, just being happy and saying positive things and saying positive words to yourself. The self-talk is really important as well. And certain things to avoid as well, right? There's a lot of TV screens that have the news on 24 hours a day. Stay away from that. Stay away from those situations. And I have another thing as well. I love nature. And I find there's so much beauty in nature, and it really puts you in alignment. There's a certain vibration to nature. I've got flowers behind me today. Even just staring at a flower, let's say for 10 minutes, will put you, and just focusing on the flower. It's a type of meditation, but it's just it puts you in alignment with calmness and with natural laws as opposed to normal laws, like you were all saying. So it's a wonderful law. It really is. And obedience. Andrea, you and I talked a little bit about this today. Sometimes obedience, the word obedience, could mean a negative thing, right? It means it could be, but in this case, it isn't. It's just being obedient to the way things are.
Yeah.
And when you are in that state, then all it is that you're in alignment, and abundance will flow, happiness flows, joyfulness flows, everything flows.
Everything flows.
Everything flows.
Yeah.
And you know, Eric, it's not just about the goodness that flows. Like you said, everything flows. And when you're truly in alignment, you allow even what we consider to be bad, and bad is only what we decide is bad, right?
Yeah.
But when you're in alignment, you know, it's not about constriction, and it's not about punishment. Obedience. It's if you're not obedient to the laws, there is no respecter of ignorance, or I just didn't know. You're going to be a pancake if you jump off a bridge. You know, like
You're not going to fly. You're not going to fly.
You can't fly. The law doesn't care. So, and it doesn't even care if you follow it or not. The law is just the law. It just is.
Just is, yeah.
So if we get in alignment with it, it rewards us, really. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, I know the law doesn't look at it that way, but you know, you get what you think, you know, you get what you want.
Right. And also, like you're talking about, like in the flow, like sometimes people might not understand vibration, you know, and all this, you know, all these other words that we're using. But an example would be like, you know, when athletes, when they say that they're in the zone,
yeah,
you know, they're making the baskets, they're like running, and it feels like they could run forever, and they're able to speed up, and it's like the world is going slowly around them, but they're able to keep up, and just everything's clicking and everything's going like that. So that's exactly what we're talking about, is when you are obeying, you know, understanding and just being in harmony with what is already happening around you, then you will stay in that. So it's almost like you're going down the Mississippi River or something like that, and you want to stay in the middle. You want to stay in the middle of that and keep flowing, because if you go off to the side, you might get an alligator or something like that, or you might crash on the side. So you really want to stay in the middle. So an example of that is, I was speaking with somebody last week, and she was saying, yes, I have different coaches for different things, and I said, well, when do you talk with your coaches? And she goes, well, I talk with my coaches when some really good things are happening and I want more good things to happen. Or I talk with my coaches when I'm over there and things aren't going well. So I talk to my coaches when things aren't going well. And I said, well, the key thing is, when you talk with your coaches, is when you're in the middle and you just go off just a little bit. So that's why it's very important to have a support around you, so you stay right in the middle, so you're not crashing to the side and then saying, help me, even if it's on the good side, and like, help me on the good side. That means that you've gone to the edge of where you shouldn't be. You're in the rough, so to speak. So you want to actually stay in the middle. So that is why we're doing these every month. That's why, you know, just staying up with content for yourselves, maybe on YouTube or wherever, reading a book, so you can stay in the middle of the river of where you're going. because if you crash to the side, that's when you're going to feel like you got your foot stuck in the mud or in the quicksand or something like that, and you're not able to get yourself out. So that's where just staying consistent, staying plugged in is very important. So as you can tell, we can go on about this
forever.
Yeah, exactly.
All day long, all the time. We can go through this because this is what we love. This is what we do. And actually, Felicia has something that she would like to share with you to be able to really put that to action for you. So here we go, Felicia.
Oh, thank you, Atina. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. If you would like to explore how you can gain a further understanding of how to ask the questions that can change your life, click the request contact button in the chat area to choose who you would like for Mastermind Magic to contact you. This is your special gift, a complimentary strategy session. Also, remember to like us on Facebook to receive life-enhancing tips and notifications of upcoming events, and the address is located in the chat area. For your reference, here's a calendar you can download that lists all of our online events dates this year. And while we're on the subject, we are from all over North America. I live in Montreal, and I have an upcoming workshop next month, Unleash Your Inner Power Within. The details to this workshop will be found in the Mastermind Facebook page. And if you are in the area, I would really love to see you there, and where we can talk a little bit more about universal laws, the law of obedience, and everything else that, if you apply the tools and the principles, will help you. And I promise you this, to live the life you love. And I believe Asina also has an event in her area. Thank you.
Yes, I do. So I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to put up my little flyer here. Woo! Okay, hopefully it's up there. So this is, so Attract and Win is the program that I have coming up next week, and that's actually with Denver Vo. He's actually a hypnotherapist, and he's not going to be hypnotizing the audience or anything like that, but we are going to be talking about the law of attraction specifically as it relates to money. So what our money paradigms are, how we can actually change those and create different patterns for ourselves, so we do bring in what it is that we would like. So all the information is there on the flyer. It is on the Mastermind Magic Facebook page. So if you go there, you'll be able to find that information. And also too, there's a text code on there. So you can text Life to Design to that number, 31996, and you'll be able to receive updates of when things are coming on. And specifically, like Felicia was saying, she's in Canada. I'm actually in California, in the United States, in the Sacramento area. So that's where this particular workshop is going to be taking place, in Roseville. And I believe, let me go ahead and stop that Eric has something coming up. So let me go ahead and bring Eric up.
Thank you so much, Athena. That was a very attractive poster, very attractive event that you've got there. So maybe I'll make my way over to Roseville to see that. I also have an event coming up on Saturday, July 14th, right where I live, which is in Milton, Ontario, Canada. So if you're in this area, it would be wonderful for you to drop by and partake in this event. And it's the information. I just finished a workshop 2 days ago, so I haven't actually gotten my the new details regarding this workshop online yet, but it will be posted probably by the end of this week. So it'd be wonderful if you guys can attend. So I've been getting very good feedback from the people that have been a pleasure to serve everyone in my community. So and I think that's it. Andrea is.
Felicia actually, is finishing up.
Hi, I'm back. If you are watching this video as a replay, you can find the link to this calendar in the description area of this video. So you can see our Mastermind Magic members live all around the world. Make sure to check out our Facebook page for upcoming events and details. And during this time, each person that has an event between now and the next online event will have a few moments to let people know when and where they will be presenting, as we have just done a few seconds ago. So we look forward. We want to say thank you first and foremost, and we look forward to being with you again. The next online event will be on Wednesday, July 11th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And with this, create a great day for yourselves. So we want to say bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.